Have you ever stopped to wonder why so many men over the age of 60 quietly accept constant bathroom trips, interrupted sleep, and a weaker urinary stream as if these problems are simply the price of getting older? The reality is that countless men spend years living with these symptoms without ever having an honest conversation about what is happening inside their bodies. They avoid bringing it up during medical appointments, they rarely discuss it with family or friends, and many simply convince themselves that nothing can be done. But that way of thinking is exactly what keeps so many men from protecting one of the most important organs for their long-term health. Today, we're going to change that. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to give you knowledge that can help you stay independent, comfortable, and confident for years to come. I'm Dr. Sarah Wells, and as a urologist with nearly a decade of experience caring for men with prostate conditions, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of patients better understand their health and take practical steps that truly make a difference. Throughout those years, I've learned something very important. The biggest improvements don't always come from expensive treatments or complicated procedures. More often than people realize, lasting results begin with small daily habits that almost anyone can adopt. In today's discussion, I'll walk you through 5 natural habits that can support a healthier prostate after the age of 60. Every one of them is simple, backed by medical research, and realistic enough to become part of your everyday routine. In fact, one of these habits surprises many of my patients because they never expected something so simple to have such a meaningful impact. Before we continue, I'd like to ask one small favor. If you believe conversations like this are important, not only for yourself, but also for your father, your husband, your brother, your son, or even a close friend, please take a moment to support this video. Your like, your comment sharing where you're watching from, and your subscription help these educational messages reach more men who may never otherwise hear this information. And I encourage you to stay with me until the very end because, after explaining each habit, I'll also share an easy action plan that you can begin putting into practice tonight. One of the most common beliefs I hear from older men is that waking several times every night to urinate, struggling with a weak urine stream, or feeling like the bladder never completely empties is simply part of aging. While it's true that the prostate naturally changes over time, these symptoms should never be accepted without understanding why they're happening. The prostate often enlarges as men grow older, a condition known medically as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. By the age of 60, more than half of all men show signs of this enlargement, and once men reach their 70s, that percentage climbs to well over 80%. However, having an enlarged prostate doesn't automatically mean you have to live with constant discomfort or lose control over your quality of life. Modern medical research continues to show that daily lifestyle choices have a powerful influence on prostate health. The habits you practice every single day can reduce inflammation, ease urinary symptoms, slow the progression of prostate enlargement, and help preserve your independence for many years. That's exactly why this conversation is so valuable. Growing older is a natural part of life, but planning every outing around restroom locations, losing sleep night after night, or avoiding travel because of urinary problems shouldn't be accepted as normal. In many cases, those struggles are not simply caused by age. They're made worse by habits that can actually be changed. During my years in clinical practice, I've spoken with men who believed their healthiest years were already behind them. Some felt embarrassed to talk about their symptoms. Others believed nothing could improve. Many had quietly accepted frustration as part of everyday life. Yet time after time, I've watched those same men regain confidence, sleep better, and experience noticeable improvements simply by making consistent lifestyle adjustments supported by science. That's why I'd like you to think of today's discussion as if we're sitting together in my consultation room. This isn't a lecture, it's a private conversation focused on giving you practical information that can genuinely improve your health. Let's begin with the very first habit, and although it sounds simple, it's one of the most overlooked strategies for protecting the prostate. Drinking water the right way instead of simply drinking more water. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you reached for a glass of water before your body actually felt thirsty? Many older men follow the same routine without realizing its effects. They drink very little throughout the morning, perhaps have a small amount during lunch, and then consume large glasses of water in the evening or shortly before bedtime. Hours later, they're waking 3, 4, or even 5 times during the night to empty their bladder, leaving them exhausted the next morning. There's a biological reason why this happens. As we age, the body's natural thirst mechanism becomes less reliable. At the same time, both the bladder and the prostate become more sensitive than they were during younger years. When the body doesn't receive enough fluids during the day, urine becomes more concentrated and acidic. That concentrated urine can irritate the bladder lining while also increasing inflammation around the prostate. This irritation often contributes to stronger urinary urgency, a weaker flow, and those frustrating nighttime trips that interrupt healthy sleep. Fortunately, the solution isn't to avoid drinking water. The key is learning to hydrate strategically so your body benefits throughout the day, instead of struggling throughout the night. The goal is to spread your water intake more evenly across the day, while your body is active and your kidneys can process those fluids efficiently. Begin your morning with a full glass of water, continue taking small sips throughout the afternoon, and then gradually reduce how much you drink during the last couple of hours before bedtime. This simple adjustment allows your body to eliminate excess fluids before you go to sleep, instead of forcing your bladder to work overtime during the night. Research published in the Journal of Urology found that men over the age of 60 who followed this pattern experienced up to a 41% reduction in nighttime urinary symptoms. That's an impressive improvement from changing nothing more than the timing of your hydration. Think about what that could mean. Not only better sleep, but also more energy during the day, greater confidence when traveling, and fewer interruptions to your daily routine. Starting tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to make hydration a planned habit instead of something you only think about when you feel thirsty. Now let's move to the second habit, and this one is just as powerful while requiring very little effort. Make it a routine to take a short walk after your meals. Most people recognize walking as one of the best activities for heart health, weight management, and blood sugar control. What many men don't realize is that the prostate also benefits significantly from regular movement. The connection comes down to circulation. After eating a large meal, blood sugar naturally rises. If you remain seated for a long period afterward, inflammatory processes increase, circulation slows, and less oxygen-rich blood reaches the pelvic organs. Over time, reduced blood flow can contribute to ongoing irritation in the tissues surrounding the bladder and prostate. A brief walk changes that entire process. Even 10 to 15 minutes of comfortable walking after lunch or dinner encourages healthier circulation throughout the body. Fresh oxygen and nutrients are delivered more efficiently to the prostate, inflammation begins to settle, and the muscles that help control normal bladder function receive better support. Researchers at the University of São Paulo followed men over the age of 65 and discovered that those who regularly walked after meals had approximately a 35% lower chance of developing moderate to severe symptoms related to benign prostatic hyperplasia. That's a meaningful difference created by one of the simplest forms of physical activity available to almost everyone. But the benefits go beyond laboratory numbers and research papers. Think about what that short walk really represents. Instead of spending your evenings worrying about where the nearest bathroom is or feeling uncomfortable after dinner, you're outside enjoying fresh air with your spouse, talking with a friend, walking your dog, or simply giving yourself a peaceful moment before the day comes to an end. Those few minutes of movement become an investment not only in your prostate, but also in your overall quality of life. And remember, this doesn't require expensive exercise equipment, a gym membership, or perfect weather conditions. If walking outside isn't possible, simply walking through your home, or even up and down a hallway, still encourages healthier circulation. Your body doesn't demand perfection. It simply responds to consistent movement. Now let's discuss the third habit. And I know this topic can make some men feel slightly uncomfortable. However, it's far too important to ignore because it directly relates to prostate health. Regular sexual activity, including ejaculation, serves an important biological function that many people never hear about. This isn't simply a discussion about intimacy or pleasure. It's about how the prostate naturally maintains itself. The prostate gland continuously produces fluid that forms an essential part of semen. When that fluid remains inside the gland for extended periods without being released, waste materials, aging cells, and inflammatory substances can gradually build up. Over time, that stagnant environment may contribute to irritation and ongoing inflammation within the prostate tissue. You can think of ejaculation as part of the body's normal maintenance system. Just as healthy circulation removes waste from other tissues, regular emptying of prostatic fluid helps clear materials that the body no longer needs. One of the largest long-term studies on this subject came from researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health, who followed more than 10,000 men over a period of 2 decades. Their findings showed that men who ejaculated at least 21 times each month had approximately a 33% lower lifetime risk of developing prostate cancer compared with those who did so much less frequently. While no single habit can completely eliminate cancer risk, this research strongly suggests that regular prostate emptying may play a meaningful protective role. There are additional benefits as well. Healthy sexual activity improves blood flow throughout the pelvic region, supports healthier hormone balance, reduces stress hormones, and contributes to emotional well-being. These combined effects create an environment that supports the prostate while also improving overall physical and mental health. Unfortunately, many older men carry unnecessary embarrassment when discussing changes in their sexual health. They assume declining intimacy is simply something they must accept without asking questions or seeking help. But from a medical standpoint, this isn't something to feel ashamed about. It's a normal conversation, and there are many safe, effective treatments available when sexual function changes with age. Ignoring the issue doesn't protect your health. Speaking openly with your healthcare provider often becomes the first step toward finding practical solutions that improve both quality of life and long-term prostate health. Now let's move to the 4th habit, and this is one that gives you the opportunity to protect your prostate every single day without adding anything complicated to your routine. It simply comes down to the food you choose to place on your plate. Every meal is a chance to either support your body's natural defenses or gradually increase the inflammation that places extra stress on your prostate. Many people think of food only as fuel to satisfy hunger, but from a medical perspective, nutrition acts much like preventive medicine. The nutrients you consume influence hormone balance, inflammation, cellular repair, and even the long-term health of the prostate gland itself. That's why making thoughtful food choices today can have a lasting impact on how you feel years from now. Let's begin with one of the most researched nutrients for prostate health, lycopene. This natural antioxidant gives tomatoes, watermelon, and guava their rich red color, and it has attracted significant scientific attention because of its ability to help protect prostate cells from oxidative damage. Oxidative stress occurs when unstable molecules, often called free radicals, begin damaging healthy cells over time. As men grow older, this type of cellular stress becomes increasingly important because it contributes to chronic inflammation and may play a role in the development of prostate disease. Interestingly, cooked tomatoes provide even more absorbable lycopene than raw ones. Heating tomatoes breaks down their cell walls, making it easier for your body to absorb this valuable nutrient. Studies have shown that men who regularly consumed cooked tomato products, such as tomato sauce, several times each week experienced a noticeably lower risk of developing prostate cancer. One study even reported approximately a 28% reduction in risk among those who consistently included cooked tomatoes in their diet. That's a remarkable benefit from a food many families already enjoy. Another nutrient that deserves attention is zinc. Although your body only requires small amounts of this mineral, the prostate contains one of the highest concentrations of zinc found anywhere in the body. Zinc plays an essential role in maintaining healthy prostate tissue, supporting immune function, and helping regulate hormonal activity. Foods such as pumpkin seeds, walnuts, shellfish, and other seafood provide excellent natural sources of zinc. Including a handful of pumpkin seeds as an afternoon snack or adding more seafood to your weekly meals can be an easy and enjoyable way to support your prostate naturally. Small nutritional improvements repeated consistently often produce much greater results than dramatic changes that are impossible to maintain. We should also talk about cruciferous vegetables, a group that includes broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and similar vegetables. These foods contain a powerful compound called sulforaphane. Researchers continue studying this natural substance because it activates important detoxification pathways inside the body. These processes help your cells identify and remove damaged materials before they have an opportunity to cause greater harm. While no food can guarantee protection from disease, regularly eating these vegetables creates an environment that favors healthier cellular function and lower levels of chronic inflammation. That's exactly the kind of internal environment you want if your goal is to preserve prostate health as the years go by. The encouraging news is that protecting your prostate through nutrition doesn't require following a strict diet or giving up every food you enjoy. Instead, focus on building meals that consistently include beneficial ingredients. Add cooked tomato sauce to your favorite recipes a few times each week. Keep pumpkin seeds or walnuts nearby for healthy snacks instead of processed alternatives. Fill at least half of your plate with colorful vegetables whenever possible, especially cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage. Choose lean sources of protein such as fish, skinless chicken, beans, or legumes more often than heavily processed meats. These aren't temporary dieting rules. They're practical eating habits that nourish your body every day while giving your prostate the nutrients it needs to stay healthy. Now let's turn our attention to the fifth and final habit, one that many people underestimate even though it influences nearly every system inside the body: getting deep, restorative sleep. Let me ask you an honest question. When was the last time you woke up feeling completely refreshed instead of immediately wishing you could sleep for another hour? Many older adults believe restless nights are simply another unavoidable part of aging, especially if they're already waking several times to use the bathroom. However, quality sleep is far more than a period of rest. It's one of the body's most important recovery processes, and it plays a surprisingly significant role in protecting the prostate. During the deepest stages of sleep, your brain and body begin an extraordinary repair process. Hormones such as melatonin and growth hormone are released in greater amounts, helping reduce inflammation, repair damaged tissues, strengthen immune defenses, and regulate many of the biological systems that keep your body functioning properly. When sleep becomes consistently interrupted or too short, these natural repair mechanisms become less effective. Inflammation increases, testosterone levels may gradually decline, and the body's ability to recover from everyday stress becomes weaker. Over months and years, these changes can influence prostate health as well as many other aspects of aging. One long-term study followed more than 2,400 men over a period of 9 years and found that those who consistently experienced poor quality sleep had roughly twice the risk of developing aggressive forms of prostate cancer compared with men who regularly enjoyed healthy, restorative sleep. While sleep alone doesn't determine your future health, it clearly plays a major role in creating the conditions that either support healing or allow inflammation to continue. Beyond the medical research, think about how poor sleep affects your daily life. Lack of rest drains your energy, shortens your patience, clouds your concentration, and often leaves you feeling discouraged before the day has even begun. On the other hand, waking after a truly restful night helps restore mental clarity, emotional balance, physical strength, and the resilience needed to enjoy life with confidence. So, what can you do to give your body the kind of sleep that truly supports long-term prostate health? Fortunately, the answer doesn't involve complicated routines or expensive products. It starts with creating an environment that allows your brain and body to enter the deepest stages of sleep more consistently. Keep your bedroom as dark as possible, because darkness naturally encourages melatonin production, the hormone that helps regulate healthy sleep cycles. Make sure your room stays quiet and comfortably cool, since even small disturbances can interrupt the restorative stages of sleep without you fully realizing it. Try to go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time each day, even on weekends. Your body functions best when it follows a predictable rhythm. It's also wise to avoid looking at phones, tablets, or televisions during the hour before bedtime, as the blue light from screens can interfere with your brain's ability to prepare for sleep. And remember the very first habit we discussed. Avoid drinking large amounts of water shortly before going to bed. By reducing unnecessary nighttime bathroom visits, you give yourself the opportunity to experience longer, uninterrupted periods of deep sleep, allowing your body to perform the repair work it was designed to do. Sleep isn't a luxury reserved for people with extra time. It's one of the most effective forms of preventive medicine available to every man. Now that we've explored each of these 5 habits individually, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. None of these recommendations are difficult on their own, but when combined, they create a powerful foundation for healthier aging. Drink water wisely by staying well hydrated throughout the day and reducing fluid intake before bedtime. Make it a habit to walk for 10 to 15 minutes after meals to improve circulation and reduce inflammation. Don't ignore the importance of healthy sexual activity as part of your body's natural prostate maintenance. Build your meals around foods that nourish and protect your cells, including tomatoes, colorful vegetables, pumpkin seeds, nuts, fish, and other lean protein sources. Finally, treat quality sleep with the same importance you would give any medication prescribed by your physician. These habits work together, supporting not just your prostate, but your entire body. One important point I always share with my patients is this: don't feel pressured to change everything overnight. Many people become excited after learning new health information and immediately try to transform every aspect of their lifestyle. While the motivation is admirable, it often becomes overwhelming. After a few days, old habits return because the changes simply weren't realistic. Instead, choose one habit and commit to it consistently for the next week. Once it begins to feel natural, introduce the second habit, then the third. Small improvements repeated every day become powerful over time. Lasting health isn't created by dramatic efforts performed occasionally. It's built through simple decisions made consistently, day after day. At this point, some of you may be wondering, "Doctor, this all sounds encouraging, but what if I'm already experiencing prostate problems? What if I wake up several times each night, struggle with a weak urinary stream, or constantly feel like my bladder isn't empty? Have I waited too long?" If those thoughts have crossed your mind, I want to reassure you with something I've witnessed countless times throughout my years of clinical practice. It is rarely too late to begin improving your health. I've cared for men in their 70s and even their 80s who believed nothing could be done. Many arrived frustrated, exhausted, and convinced they would have to live with their symptoms forever. Yet after making consistent lifestyle adjustments, working closely with their healthcare providers, and remaining patient with the process, many experienced meaningful improvements. They began sleeping through more of the night. Their urinary urgency became less intense. Their bladder emptied more effectively. They regained confidence when leaving the house, traveling, attending family events, or simply enjoying everyday life without constantly thinking about the nearest restroom. That's an important reminder because the purpose of these habits extends far beyond reducing symptoms alone. This isn't simply about preventing disease or improving medical test results. It's about preserving the freedom to enjoy the years ahead. It's about waking each morning with energy instead of exhaustion. It's about traveling without anxiety, spending uninterrupted time with your loved ones, sleeping peacefully through the night, and maintaining the confidence that allows you to continue living life on your own terms. Healthy aging isn't measured only by how many years you live. It's measured by how fully you're able to experience those years. Every positive choice you make today contributes to that future. Many people mistakenly believe that aging automatically means accepting weakness, discomfort, and declining independence. But medicine continues to show us a very different picture. While we can't stop the passing of time, we can influence how our bodies respond to it. Daily habits shape inflammation, circulation, hormone balance, metabolism, sleep quality, and cellular health. In other words, your everyday decisions quietly determine how well your body performs over the coming years. The remarkable thing is that these decisions remain within your control, regardless of whether you're 60, 70, or even well into your 80s. Every healthy meal, every short walk, every restful night, and every positive routine becomes another investment in your future well-being. So rather than focusing on what you can't change, your age, focus on what you can. Choose consistency over perfection. Give your body the support it deserves and allow these small habits to work together over time. Remember, meaningful progress rarely happens overnight, but with patience and commitment, the results often become life-changing. Your prostate, like every other part of your body, responds to the care you provide each day. And those daily choices have far more influence than many people realize. Before we finish today, I'd like to leave you with one final thought that I hope stays with you long after this video ends. Your prostate doesn't suddenly become unhealthy overnight. In most cases, the changes happen gradually, often over many years. The encouraging news is that improvement usually follows the same pattern. Small decisions, repeated consistently, can create meaningful changes that become noticeable over time. That's why I encourage every man watching this not to underestimate the value of simple daily habits. You don't have to make dramatic changes all at once. You don't need to search for miracle supplements or complicated treatment plans before taking your first step. Real progress begins with the choices you make today. Drink your water more wisely. Take that short walk after lunch or dinner. Fill your plate with foods that nourish your body instead of fueling inflammation. Protect your sleep as carefully as you protect your heart. And never feel embarrassed to have honest conversations about your prostate health with your healthcare provider. These actions may seem small on their own, but together they create a powerful foundation for healthier aging. One of the greatest lessons I've learned after caring for men over the years is that those who experience the best outcomes are rarely the ones searching for quick fixes. They're the men who remain consistent. They understand that health is built one day at a time. Those daily decisions quietly shape how they feel months and years later. Every healthy meal, every walk, every restful night, and every positive routine becomes another investment in the future version of themselves. If you're already dealing with urinary symptoms, don't lose hope. Many men assume that once these problems begin, nothing can improve. That simply isn't true. I've seen patients who believed they would never sleep through the night again. I've cared for men who were afraid to leave their homes because they constantly worried about finding a restroom. Others avoided long car rides, family vacations, and social gatherings because they no longer trusted their bladder. Yet with proper medical guidance and consistent lifestyle improvements, many of those same men gradually regained confidence they thought had disappeared forever. Their sleep improved, their urgency became less intense, their urinary flow became stronger. Most importantly, they began enjoying life again without allowing prostate symptoms to control every decision they made. That's why I want you to remember that these habits are about much more than protecting a single gland. They're about preserving your independence. They're about maintaining your energy. They're about continuing to enjoy meaningful time with your family and friends. They're about having the confidence to travel, exercise, sleep peacefully, and live each day without constantly thinking about discomfort or inconvenience. Healthy aging isn't simply measured by the number of birthdays you celebrate. It's measured by how fully you're able to enjoy those years. And that journey starts with the choices you make today. So here's a simple challenge I'd like to leave with you. Choose just one of the 5 habits we discussed. Don't worry about mastering everything immediately. Focus on one change. Practice it consistently for the next 7 days. Once it becomes part of your routine, add the second habit. Then the third. Continue building one healthy decision at a time until these habits become part of your everyday life. Remember, lasting transformation rarely comes from doing something extraordinary once. It comes from doing ordinary things consistently. Your body notices every healthy choice you make. Even when you don't see immediate results, positive changes are taking place beneath the surface. Inflammation begins to decrease. Circulation improves. Your cells receive better nourishment. Your body becomes more efficient at repairing itself. These benefits accumulate quietly over time. And one day, you'll realize you're sleeping better, feeling stronger, and living with greater confidence than you expected. Age should never be viewed as the end of vitality. Your 60s, 70s, and even your 80s can still be years filled with purpose, strength, independence, and fulfillment. Your future health isn't determined by luck alone. It's influenced by the decisions you repeat every single day. If today's conversation has been helpful, I encourage you to support this video by clicking the like button. Share it with another man who may benefit from hearing this information. It could be your father, your husband, your brother, your son, or a close friend. Sometimes a single conversation is enough to encourage someone to take their health seriously before small problems become much larger ones. And if you'd like to continue learning practical, science-based strategies to support men's health, be sure to subscribe and join me for future discussions. Thank you for spending these valuable minutes with me today. I'm Dr. Sarah Wells. Always remember this: you are never powerless when it comes to protecting your health. Your prostate is influenced far more by your daily habits than by chance alone. The decisions you make today can shape how you feel for many years to come. And the very best moment to begin taking care of yourself is right now.